I got 2 "Do you even watch games, bro?" comments today on Twitter.
I'm a man.
One of them was from an Oklahoma State fan. It was like, bro, you don't even watch games. What do you know?
3/4 of this is inaccurate.
So here is the Big 12 schedule matrix, right? You got the top half, you got the bottom half. You've got Oak State, who, essentially doesn't play anybody until Utah in week 4 on their schedule, right? And then K-State, West Virginia, bye week at BYU, where you're not allowed to say horns down, at Baylor, Arizona State, TCU, another bye, Texas Tech, and then at Colorado. Would you more lean towards, Jake, Utah or Oak State to win the league?
Yeah, I mean, I would be looking at Utah. I think that, Utah is a more reliable selection. Now, obviously, Oak State showed their quality, right? I mean, obviously, you got run out of the house by Texas, but I think, you had a strong finish to the season before the Big 12 championship game. But looking at this season, to me, for Utah, this is the final ride. This is it for Cam Rising, Brant Keithy. Like, this is it for the boys. So I would expect them to come out and try to have a big season. And it's fitting that it's the first year in the Big 12. And if you think that the new schools coming into the Big 12 aren't looking to prove a point, you're mistaken, because I do think that schools like Utah are trying to come in here and prove a point. And if you come in here in your first season and you can somehow win the Big 12 and obviously put yourself into the college football playoff, that's a big deal. And so to me, I look at it and I say, yeah, who am I looking at as a favorite? I think Utah's got to be 1. I'd have Oak State number 2, and then I think I'd probably have Arizona number 3, even with Jed Fish leaving. I think when you've got Noah Fafita, you've got a gunslinger quarterback in the Big 12. I think that's the kind of football style that you need to play. You need to play an offensive style for the most part to have success in the Big 12. The difference with Utah is Utah's defense is so damn good, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They seemingly hold you under 20 points. So to me, that's the biggest difference. So I would say Utah is the favorite, but I do think it's the idea of it's the way too early, gotta wait and see what the roster actually looks like type prediction. I'm simply saying Utah off of what I know Kyle Whittingham to be, what I know that defense to be every single year, and assuming that Cam Rising's knee can stay healthy for an entire season.
Well, and listen, I think one of the major caveats to this conversation is Jed Fish left Arizona. Because I think if Jed Fish had stayed at Arizona, I'd have Arizona number 2 on this list. I don't think it's even close. I think this is going to be a very different year in the Big 12. I think that Utah is going to be comfortably on top of this league. I think you have to talk about K-State. It's interesting what the Jayhawks are doing, playing a lot of games in a soccer stadium and at Burrowhead Stadium, because they have construction and facilities going on. But I think you look at the rest of it, there's no reason that Oak State can't be in the 3rd slot here. I don't love what Mike Gundy has not done in the transfer portal as usual. And now you've got Gunnar Gundy going to Alabama. Did you see that?
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
He's not going to Alabama. We're aware. But you have a lot of change there. And I think the problem is, can you count on this offense outside of Ollie Gordon to score enough points? And the answer is no. I don't think you can. And then I don't know. I am certainly no expert at at hitting the like button like you guys are. I have no idea what West Virginia did to piss off the whole of America. Because you look at some of these schedules and you start saying to yourself, okay, well, Arizona, New Mexico, their first tough games, K-State on the road. Okay. You flip around in West Virginia and they're starting Penn State, Albany, at Pitt, Kansas, at Okie State, Iowa State, K-State, Arizona, at Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, and Texas Tech. Neil Brown needs fired is going to get his wish. Because, geez Louise, what is it that West Virginia did to piss everybody off? right? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
can you believe that James is going to send us pictures of what KU Stadium looks like now?
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
Wow.
Yay!
James, I got to tell you, I'm sitting on it. Like, I am just
You're sitting on it.
champing at the bit. I cannot. Okay.
I get it.
Okay. And James also says, just a reminder, Okie State, please, has their best wide receiver returning from injuries.
It's easy hindsight.
Okay. And I mean, obviously their quarterback situation
is just amazing, dude. I mean, I don't know how we're not sitting here like raving.
I mean,
Alan Bowman for his 18th season in college football.
It's my quarterback.
Come on, dude.
I don't think that again, if you can run the ball and you can listen, man, if you can run the ball,
Ollie Gordon's coming back, dude. Oh,
he can't throw the ball though.
Oh,
I don't know. I think I look at the rest of this league, and whether we're messing with James and we're just having a good old honky tonkin' time with good old James. I think I look at the Big 12, and I think this is a three horse race.
Yeah, the problem with the Big 12 is there's a lot of these teams that are just simply down right now. They're just simply not very good. I mean, whether it's Texas Tech, K-State, Kansas, what kind of Kansas team are we going to get? Are we going to get the good Kansas team or the average Kansas team? Because that seems to be a week by week question, with all due respect. Like, some weeks you were good enough last season to beat Oklahoma, and other weeks you couldn't beat your mom's, knitting institute. So to me, it's like, what team are we getting when we talk about Kansas football? And then you look at, again, TCU. What is Sonny doing with TCU? I mean, are they going to take a step forward? Is TCU a top 5 team in the Big 12 this season?
What is Joey McGuire doing?
Yeah, what's Joey doing, man? Like, I do agree with what we said at the end of this past regular season for Texas Tech. Dude, Joey's got to get it figured out this year. And I feel almost uneasy and surprised to be saying that, hey, Joey, if you don't get it figured out and you turn in another 4 or 5 win season, you're going to be done there. But I think that's the case.
Yeah, if they struggle out of the gate, Joey McGuire's in real trouble. You just can't have the nonsense that we saw last year. And I think Joey had a lot of people excited, but to finish 7-6 when you were supposed to be in contention for the Big 12 championship, I think is a huge problem.
Well, Texas Tech was supposed to be what Oklahoma State was, right? I think that's what we were expecting. Hey, Texas Tech is going to be a dark horse. They're going to come up from the bottom, and they're going to surprise a lot of people. And don't be surprised if they're at Jerry World playing for the Big 12 championship. And it was exactly the opposite. And what did we get? The Mullet and company struggling early in the year, turn it around somehow, and they get to the Big 12 championship game to get stomped like we knew they would. And that's the thing with the Big 12, man. You never know who's it going to be this year. Would anyone be surprised? Again, and this isn't even a dig at James or anybody. Would anyone be surprised if Oklahoma State just had kind of an average year this year and there was another surprise out of the Big 12? Like,
I would not. And listen, I understand that Oak State's going to keep a lot of that talent that's on that roster, but I look at Baron Morton and Taj Brooks at Texas Tech. That should be the most exciting quarterback running back combo in the Big 12. I mean, that is absolutely packed with potential. And I think you're looking at a situation where if you're in Lubbock, you should be excited about that. And I also think I have no idea what Iowa State's going to be. Because again, you're obviously Matt Campbell, that's a guy that you just love and respect. I mean, Matt Campbell's a guy that you're excited about to have as your coach. Rocco Becht is a guy that, is going to have to probably carry much of the offense. He and Jaden Higgins are going to be something to watch. Their defense is going to be stellar again, because that's what Matt Campbell does. And if they come back and they you're not going to improve on their defensive performance from last year. I mean, wasn't it some stupid number like 5 yards a play that Iowa State gave up? So you're not going to improve on that. But I think that's going to be very good.
Yeah.
I think that that's a team that I would watch. And I think that Matt Campbell's one of those teams that can surprise. I really do. But with so much new blood coming into the league, and I wonder if it is a situation where can we pick out one of the new teams to thrive? I think that's Utah. That's a big conference program. That's Kyle Whittingham. They're going to reload. They're always going to have defense. The question is, I'm even more curious about Brant Keithy's situation. What's he going to look like? How healthy is he going to be? And how much of an impact is he going to have snap in and snap out for the Utes? Because he's not just a pass catcher. He is an all-around football player who impacts every snap that he's on the field for.
Yeah, and I think that what's surprising to me, again, and I'll keep saying it, like, we haven't heard much out of Brant Keithy. And not that I'm expecting the guy to do a media tour or something, but usually, you just get like a hype video here or a tweet there. Or
we got the one hype video on his return.
Yeah,
but he's not an outspoken guy.
Yeah, I mean, but you're right. I mean, he's integral to what they do on offense, and again, that's why I say, like, this first year in the Big 12 for Utah is very much a boom or bust proposition.
Massive.
In terms of, like, if Kyle Whittingham can come out here and win the Big 12 and make a statement like that, this guy's going to coach for another 5 years, in my opinion. But if you come out here and you suffer more injuries and he's got to play the portal game and he's got to kind of catch up with the times, I think, we could go the other direction, because Witt's definitely one of those guys who was slow to embrace NIL, slow to embrace the portal. He was much more in the, Nick Saban thought process of, hey, NIL and the portal isn't exactly helping things as a head coach. So that's why I say there's a lot on the line here. And I conversely, you look at the other side for BYU, like, dude, like, Utah's coming into this conference and they're better than you. There's no way to say that you're better than Utah. That's just not the case right now. And
yeah,
I like what what BYU did in their first season in the Big 12. But as this conference changes and evolves, you should theoretically have another win or two on that schedule with Oklahoma and Texas leaving. You should be able to beat Colorado theoretically. We'll see what they actually are like on the field. You should compete with Utah, but I'm not sure I can say I'm comfortable with you beating them yet. And I look around the conference, and I'm just sitting here saying, what's BYU versus Oklahoma State look like this year? Those are the kind of games for BYU where I'm like, hey, are you in that game or are you out of that game?
Yeah, I think Witt's done a nice job. Dorian Singer, I know that Ute fans got really excited about Dorian Singer from SC via Arizona. I'm not that excited. I think you don't hop around as much as he's hopped around without cause. I mean, I'm much more Gilman, the safety from Stanford, I think is a much bigger pickup. Tayshawn Lyons from Washington, I think is a really nice pickup. And we'll see what comes of it. I mean, obviously you're getting Cameron Calhoun from Michigan as well. I mean, that's a nice pickup, but you've got to, I think that the biggest question is who in this league of the new schools can really come in and make an impact. I don't believe that Arizona State is that school. I don't believe that Arizona's that school. I think Deion Sanders is by far head and shoulders got the most new talent on his roster.
Do you believe?
I mean, if you start thinking about what Colorado has built, I mean, you look at their portal and you start looking at the defense that my man has put together, and it's impressive how much the defensive line has gotten better, how much the secondary has gotten better. And Jake, I think this is a year that Deion Sanders really, that program will take a big step up.
Yeah. And I think they need to take a big step up. Last year's, obviously his first year at Colorado, you started hot, beat some teams you shouldn't have beat. And then I think it caught up to you. And I think, the opposition kind of figured out, hey, we can run on this team. We can out physical and out will this team. And I think, that's what bothered Dion so much. And yeah, you got embarrassed a couple times. Like, things happened last season. But again, the biggest issue for Colorado is the trenches on both sides of the ball. Shedeur Sanders cannot be running a marathon all game long trying to get the ball down the field. He's got to have a pocket to work with. And if you can just give him, 3 seconds, a snap at most, he's going to be a lot better. I mean, that makes Travis Hunter better. That makes, a lot of guys better. So to me, I look at it and I say, hey, you got to get better. And they did get better, and the defense will be better. But the question is, what kind of protection can you provide Shedeur? Because if you can provide Shedeur Sanders protection, he will get the ball down the field to somebody. And I'm inclined to think that if your offensive line is better, your run blocking should be better as well, because you really didn't have a run game last year either. So to me, the Big 12 has always been a bigger physical conference. You've always kind of had that ground and pound sort of feel in the Big 12. And I think Colorado is a little more adept to handle that, coming into this year than they were last year.
I mean, again, Dion had a massive pull in the portal.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And when we start looking at what that exactly means, I mean, the offensive line, if you look at the offensive line, the trenches are already better. That secondary, which was so riddled by injury, is already better. Like, I have no doubt. I think this is what makes the transfer portal and Deion Sanders, who is absolutely magnetic, in my opinion. He is one of the most important guys in college football. I think this is what makes him so damn lethal. Like, I just start looking at some of the defense that he brought in, and it's shocking. Like, I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how he did it. And the December portal period was wild for Colorado. I mean, I sifted through all that. I think the guy is absolutely remarkable in what he's been able to do. And I think it'll be very interesting to see what he's able to do with, like, Quincy Wiggins, the defensive lineman from LSU. I think that was a big pickup. That's a 9.2 guy, right? Like, that's a guy that can really make a difference. BJ Green is another guy that is 9.1 from Arizona State. Like, you look at the numbers, don't lie. And it's across. It is across the defensive line where he just got way better. And then, you look at Tyler Johnson from Houston. That's a 9-point guy on the offensive line. You look at Justin Mayers. He's a kid from UTEP that was hotly contested. I think a lot of people thought he was going to wind up in the Big Ten. He winds up at Colorado, and that's an 8.99 guy. So he's a 9-point, guy. Like, you're looking at the guys that he brought in, and this is not some small to do nothing. Like, this is a guy who went out and got significantly better.
Well, and at a minimum, he's got a bunch of talent that he can develop, right? I mean, even no matter what you say about these guys, like, you're not accidentally a 9.2 or an 8.8.
No.
Or, like, these guys can play. And I think that was the thing last year, is that he had kids, but they were not like this level of raw talent and this level of ability. And so it's like, for Dion, he knew that if he could just upgrade the raw, undefined talent on his roster, that he and that staff could go out there and develop these guys and turn it into what they needed it to be. And so it didn't have to fall so much on, the names that you already know that are at, the Shedeurs, the Shilohs, the Travis Hunters. Like, it didn't have to fall on that core group of guys if he can spread out the responsibility across the roster. So we'll see. I mean, again, that's the thing about this Big 12 schedule matrix, is you look at what Colorado's got to deal with, or what any team's got to deal with, and some paths are more difficult than others. But what I will say is that I do think the Big 12, just generally speaking, is far easier than last year's Pac-12.
And Samuel Okunlola is, I mean, I don't even know how that happened. How do you get a kid that's quality? His defensive line, they're going to be 9 deep on defense. 9 defensive linemen deep. I mean, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So your comments. Who do you think were the winners of the Big 12 schedule matrix? I don't think there's any doubt if you are looking at this matrix. You look at BYU, for instance. BYU is somebody that obviously starts at home with Southern Illinois, but at SMU, at Wyoming, K-State, at Baylor, and then into a bye. That's a pretty soft start to your schedule.
But it's SMU.
Yeah,
Come on.
SMU is good. Wyoming is good, but that's a coaching change there. There's a funding gap at SMU now. I think you are looking at K-State and you're getting them at home at altitude, as you are Arizona, Oak State, Kansas, and Houston are all games played in Provo this year. Your road schedule is at Baylor. That's a game I would think that you could win. At UCF, at Utah, and Arizona State. That's a bowl eligible schedule.
Yeah.
That's what that is right there. And then I look at like Colorado. You start with North Dakota State, at Nebraska, at Colorado State, Baylor, at UCF. Look at Dion on the road, right? At Nebraska, at Colorado State, at UCF. Those are three very difficult arenas to play in. The environments on the road for him are already crazy. At Arizona, at Texas Tech, and at KU.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. You look at his home games, right? Baylor, K-State, Cincinnati, Utah, and Oak State. My guess is when we get to Utah and Oak State, I would think that Dion would have his guys bowl eligible this year because his home schedule is winnable, is very winnable. But I look at Baylor, and again, I'm asking for a friend, Dave Aranda. Why are you still the football coach at Baylor? Like, you look at his home games, Tarleton State, Air Force, BYU, Oak State, TCU, and Kansas. Okay, is he beating Oak State, TCU, and Kansas? Probably not.
I'm not sure he's beating BYU.
I think BYU's a winnable game. Air Force is always difficult. And Tarleton State, but those, you got to win your first three games at home. You really, if you're Dave Aranda and Baylor, you're not going to win any of your first three road games because you're Utah, Colorado, and Iowa State to start. And then you come right out of your bye on October 19th in Lubbock, and you're getting slapped on the D with some tortillas.
So I said, yeah.
And then you got to go to West Virginia and Houston.
Yeah.
I don't see that he survives this year. I truly do not see that he survives this year.
We didn't see he survived last year. I mean, it's wild. He still got the job.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Yeah, it really is. And then I think the most intriguing team, look how front-loaded the Texas Tech schedule is, right? You're looking at a situation where you play at Washington State. That should be a win, right? But then you don't go on the road until Arizona, which you should win, into a bye, and then you come back out at home against Baylor. And then it gets real. TCU and Iowa State on the road, Colorado at home, at Oak State, home for West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I would expect Joey McGuire to be undefeated going to Fort Worth to take on TCU. I would expect them to be 7-0. Though, and I know that's lofty, but I would expect them to be 7-0.
Well,
and hey, maybe I have too high of an expectation, but I'd expect him to be 7-0.
Yeah, he needs to make a statement coming out early. So it just needs to be that way, I think, for him to be there long term.
100%. I agree with that. All right, let's get your comments in here. Matthew, first one out. West Virginia will surprise again like last year. Green could be one of the best QBs in the league. I don't think there's any doubt. But again, not for nothing, not trying to be anybody other than, myself. That's a song. Okay. I look at West Virginia, and is it problematic that the alumni don't want Neil Brown to be there? Oh, I think it certainly is. And then you look at his portal and you're like, Neil, do you know what the transfer portal is, Neil? You know how that works? You want to boot up AOL and see if you can get online and I don't know. Is this thing on? Like, I'm not sure what my guy's doing in the transfer portal.
Yeah, bro.
Because there's not a lot there.
Yeah.
There's not a lot there. So I'll be interested to see exactly how
Green damn well better be the best quarterback in the conference.
how this works out. I don't know how you can get excited about this.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just one of those things where
they're slated to underachieve every year, and then some years they pop off. So I have trouble believing that West Virginia once again is going to, overachieve. I'm not going to count on that. Nothing says that they will, but hey, maybe Neil Brown needs fired as just a gamer and finds his way through. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Paulo, what is the word on primetime violations? Well, I think you're talking about Tennessee. Tennessee is under NCAA investigation because they threw a bunch of money at a offensive lineman, Jordan Seaton. And it'll be interesting to see how much money they offered him. That's going to be part of that investigation.
Yeah.
Because and I don't think, and unless I missed something, and please feel free to let me know, I don't see that Deion Sanders and his 80 million person compliance department is running afoul of the law. Like,
yeah,
I don't see that. Laura Weiss, good afternoon to you. Tech plays both Arizona schools on the road to Arizona, home against ASU. Those are 2 wins.
Yeah.
And again, I'll just say about Joey, you guys, you look at this schedule, and there's no excuse. There's just no excuse. Like, what is it that when you look at this schedule, what is it that you see here where Joey McGuire doesn't run the whole damn thing? Because I don't know what that is. And it's not going to be Abilene to open up the schedule. Right? It's not.
He's got opportunities on the schedule, and you had opportunities last year and you threw them away. And 7-0,
dude. 7-0 going to take on the Frogs.
Yes.
That's the expectation. And it really, if I'm Joey McGuire, I expect to win the game at TCU and be 8-0 going to Ames. That should really be, because I think you're going to have a really difficult time producing offense at Iowa State. And when they come to your joint, you're going to have a real difficult time producing offense.
Yeah.
But when you travel to Iowa State, boy, that's going to be a ball breaker. But I would expect to be 8-0 going to Ames. And if you're a Texas Tech fan and that's not your expectation, I would be a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
In my mind anyway. Delaric, also year 2 of Deion in Colorado will be better, much better.
Should be better.
Because they're way more talented. Way more. The Buffalo Hunter, Keithy and Singer get 1,000 yards apiece. I would not count on Dorian Singer for that. What part of a Kyle Whittingham offense has ever produced multiple 1,000-yard receivers? That does not happen very often. So that's going to be tough. And you have a new receiver coming into an old room. It's going to be tough for Dorian Singer, I think. I think that's going to be very difficult. Very difficult. Jeff Woodworth, I'm better than Utah. There, I said it. And I think you are. I think you are. Christopher Shannon, but he'll make guest appearances on the Pat McAfee show riding a Harley, but won't pay $20,000 a month to get a better team. Kyle Whittingham wins games. And this is not Dabo Sweeney, who is simply not operating in the transfer portal.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
Listen, I understand that there's a lot of Utah fans and a lot of Utah haters who, want to call out Kyle Whittingham and want to see the Utes fail because it's just them Mormons out there in Utah, boy.
Hey, boy.
Right? But that's not, I wouldn't go that way.
No, I just think every year we get, hey, Utah's not going to be great, and then they find a way. And so I just wouldn't count them out, man. I would not be discounting what they're doing.
And I think he's done some nice things. Look, I want Dorian Singer to be a star, but I've heard too much to believe in it. I've heard too much to believe in it. And I think Singer's nice. I think that Tayshaun Lyons from Washington's nice. Obviously, Carson Ryan from UCLA, that's a nice pickup, right? And those, by the way, though, Carson Ryan's is enrolled, which that's I think really important. Anthony Woods is a big pickup. The running back from Idaho, that's a very big pickup. He's also enrolled. Like, you better find a way to get more offense.
Yes.
Because defense is never the trouble at Utah. It is a conservative offense that seemingly always winds up being the issue at Utah.
Yeah, you're always trying to scrap for 21 points, and that just needs to change.
OG Gary, I know way more ball than you do, Weston. Y'all going 6-6. You lost your main QB and you lost good pieces. I don't know where Weston is. I'm not sure what he said, but I'm sure it'll come back around. You guys will keep going at each other, I'm sure, which is fine. Weston Sloan, there he is. We didn't lose our QB. He got processed.
Okay, what does that mean? Like, he got booked in a jail cell? Is that what we're talking about here? Or?
Okay, well, you can just lop off. We didn't lose our QB. Are you really want to stick with that?
He got processed.
You really want to stick with that? You don't lose a guy on Dylan Gabriel's level and be like, bro, we didn't lose.
Guys.
I mean, just because he went to,
Hey, guys.
Just because he went to Oregon, lose a quarterback. What? And yeah, I think that's a huge loss for you. It's a huge loss for you. And you look at how quiet it's not like you've had a lot of incoming flights to Norman, right? Like you're a little nervous about that. And we can all sit here and we can shine on about, this or that, but it's not like you won huge battles.
Dude, Dylan Gabriel's a irreplaceable talent. The guy he's a gamer, dude. He is the reason you beat Texas. He is the reason that you were in the college football playoff conversation for as long as you were this past season. Like, you don't just go out and replace guys like Dylan Gabriel. So, with all due respect, saying your quarterback got processed and you didn't lose your quarterback, I'm not really sure what you mean by that.
I mean, I really like and obviously it's Brett Venables. Who are we kidding? I love what you guys did in the trenches in the portal. But if we're talking about wide receiver, running back, quarterback talent's pretty important. And losing a guy like Dylan Gabriel, who is a special player, to Oregon and calling it a process. Really? I mean, that's weak ass shit. Like, I think, with all due respect, I think you don't want to.
You're in denial, bro.
Yeah. Marcus Emmert, as I leave the schedule up there the entire time. This season's going to be so fun in football. Basketball has already been an absolute treat this year with the new schools and is only getting better. I agree. I think I don't know, is parity the right word? I think there's going to be a lot of parity in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not assumed that it's Texas and Oklahoma and everyone else. I think now there are so many question marks about who's going to be how good and what's this year look like. I mean, you can go up and down the slate and it's like, all right, well, theoretically, Utah should be on top of this conference, right? Theoretically, Texas Tech should be 7-0, right, headed to TCU. But there's huge questions. I mean, again, it's like saying, hey, BYU really should be bowl eligible this year, and you should have been bowl eligible last year.
Should have been eligible last year.
Yeah. So, I think parity is a good word for it. I think level playing field. I think, really opening the floodgates to just a wide open, anybody can win it style conference. I think is great for college football. But B, I think it puts the Big 12 in a really interesting spot because, again, we're entering the 12-team college football playoff, and I think you have no idea who's going to represent your conference in the playoff. You have no idea.
Yeah, I think it is going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out. But the portal's a game changer.
Yeah.
The portal's a game changer.
Well, and it can be a negative one, too. I mean, again, we've talked all about these coaches who don't embrace it. And it's like, hey, dude, if you're not going to embrace it, Gundy's not embracing it. So again, if you're not going to embrace it and guys like Prime are coming into your conference, you're losing talent to a competitor in your conference.
Yeah, I really don't know how you – I don't know how you don't just excuse away Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Like now, understand, you're also not – like who had the best portal? Ole Miss? I mean, Ole Miss, I'm not even sure it's an argument.
Ohio State?
No, I don't. I think Ohio State got a couple of really big names, but if you look at what Lane Train did in the SIP, I mean, it's wild that you got guys like Logan Diggs. You lost Quinshon Judkins, and you replaced him with Logan Diggs, right? And then you look at the receiving skill positions, dude. DeQuan Wright from Virginia Tech and Antwine Wells. I mean, how do you even explain that? Devin Price from FAU. Like it's crazy. And then we start looking just at like the offensive line. Julius Buelow from Washington, Diego Pounds, Gerquan Scott. And I think everybody's like, well, who the fuck are Darquan Scott, bro? He went to Southern Mississippi and he's an
is that guy?
8.99. And he had like 10 schools after him, right? I mean, Nate Kalpo from Washington, like, I mean, that's pure and utter domination, right? And you get, I think Walter Nolan from A&M going to the SIP is a huge get. I mean, Chris Paul Jr., from Arkansas, a 9.2, huge get. That's what the portal's all about. Getting Trey Amos from Bama, huge get.
Yeah.
Huge get. You get Key Lawrence. Key Lawrence, I don't know that Key Lawrence amounts to much at Ole Miss. I really don't. But all of that to say, you're 13 guys deep in the secondary at Ole Miss. Let's be honest about it. And I think you look at what Texas did. You look at Ohio State, according to On3, is 8th in the country, which is pretty impressive. It's 10 skill points behind, or excuse me, 15 skill points behind what Ole Miss did at number 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
No doubt.
You are going to see with the decline of Alabama in this transition, somebody's going to step up and stand there.
Fill that void. And
it's going to be, I'm telling you, it's Lane Train. Because it is remarkable what he has done. It truly is. I'm not the guy I see everybody saying like Aaron Wilson. Hello, Aaron Wilson. Screw the SEC besides Missouri. Oh, okay. I'm not that guy. I love good football.
Yeah.
I love good football. I don't hate the SEC. And I think if Lane Kiffin is in the college football playoff, and I can't believe he wouldn't be, I think we're all better off for it in college football.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he is a guy that
he needs to get in.
We'll see. Steve Stepanek, how are you? Do you think any other teams will get in trouble other than Michigan for betting on games? I think it's pervasive, and I think many teams will get in trouble.
And it's hard to say how many, dude.
We don't even know.
Yeah.
We don't even know.
And I would say, don't count on Michigan being gambling. I mean, there's a chance it's not gambling.
I think there is a chance it's not gambling. I don't know how it's not. I don't know how it's not. That would be, that'd be rough. Mike, Deion fans and channels are drinking the Kool-Aid again, thinking they're going to be national champs. I don't think it's national champs. I think the guy went out and beat everybody else's ass in the conference, certainly in the trenches. And where did they get beat severely? On the defensive line and on the offensive line. And he completely flipped the script on that. And I don't think it's stuff like this.
Yeah.
That I don't know why people hate the SEC. Why do you hate Deion Sanders? Why do you hate, if you're a Texas fan, okay, you hate Oklahoma. If you're an Oklahoma fan, okay, you hate Dylan Gabriel, apparently. Like, I get it. But I don't understand why do people hate the SEC?
Because they're good.
That's why you hate them. Why do you hate Deion Sanders? Because he's in front of your face constantly.
And
because
you know he's going to win.
Because he's good.
Yeah.
The guy, I don't drink the haterade that most people drink.
Yeah.
And I think I would agree with that, Marcus. I think people hate seeing others succeed.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's as simple as that.
And I think that Deion, the way Deion does his publicity, like all the social media stuff and all the video they create and everything, like it's a little bit different than a traditional mindset. And I think people hate on him for that too. And it just is what it is.
Yeah. The eye patch. Then it's settled. Lane Kiffin wins a no, come on. I think if we're talking about national championships, you got to look at the Big Ten. I think if Dan Lanning doesn't win it this year, he might never win it. I mean, if we're being honest, if Dan Lanning doesn't win it now, when is he going to win it? Because again, he had an incredible portal.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Gabriel plus. Like, the guy had an incredible portal. If he doesn't win it now, when's he going to win it? What do we have a better chance of? Do we have a better chance of actually giving away an $100 Amazon gift card today for likes on the show, or do we get a Dan Lanning championship? Because here we are, 1,000 views in the last 45 minutes, and we're only at 78 likes.
Come on, guys.
So I'm saying there's 264 people watching the show. If we can get to 122 additional likes, 200 likes in the next 4 minutes.
All you got to do is hit a like button, man. It's not hard.
266 people watching the show. And if you hit the like button, we're going to give away a $100 Amazon gift card to somebody in the next 4 minutes.
Do it.
But and I'll even pause for the cause to drink the buckshot, right? Bucktop.com, the official energy drink of the Monty Show. Use the promo code Monty. Get 20% off at checkout. And hit the like button. Okay, got 97 likes to go. 264 people watching the show. Meatheads. Anyway. Insulting you probably is not the right way to go.
Get it done, man. We've been trying to give away a gift card for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah, we have. It's been a pretty dry stretch for giving away Amazon gift cards. And I'd really like to give one away. This is the last week we're doing afternoons full time. Next week we go to mornings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're at 113 with 2.5 minutes to go. All we need 85 more likes now. Hit the like button.
Come on.
Hit the like button.
Do it.
We're at 115, 120 with 269 viewers. Hit the like button. And I'll keep reading some comments. Hit the like button. And we'll give away an Amazon gift card. Stephen Smith, what are your thoughts on K-State, Iowa State scandal in basketball, where Iowa State alleged? I don't care. I couldn't care less. If you are having your huddle spied on, that's on you. I could not. Like, so many people have asked me about this.
Do we have, are they banging garbage cans and using, Apple Watches and cameras to spy on your coach drawing up a play, dude? As if they don't know what play is coming already? Come on, dude.
I was reading this story the other day, and people are like, oh my God, can you believe?
Guys.
One guy on Twitter was like, is this worse than Belichick? And it's like, dude.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
Stop with this. I think the craziest part is most people say it never happened. That's the worst part of it, right? It's in my opinion, it's ridiculous on two sides.
Because it's illegal. Number
one, I don't think it's just to Iowa State. It's not just to Iowa State, right? Like their entire basketball crew, they bust their asses, and now it's like, oh, they cheated money. They're Bill Belichick. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Deflategate.
It's just get out of here. I'm so tired of the Iowa State cheated. Just stop. You got your ass beat. Deal with it. Deal with it.
Guys. We are the new Michigan cheating scandal. It happened to us.
Yes, Jimmy Otson, stop. Nobody is worse than Belichick. Exactly right.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Mike says, why is Vegas taking bets right Colorado at 4? Because they can. That's their job. They take bets.
Yeah, their job's to make money, dude.
That's what they do in Vegas. Bro, you're in the wrong place if you think we're going to sit here and talk about how shitty Colorado's going to be. I'm not rooting against anybody's team or anybody to fail, or that's not the show, man. Wrong show. And I don't believe that Deion Sanders is going to fail. Wasikowski, at least Michigan knew how to cover it up.
Yeah, by creating a line item on a piece of paper.
Unlike the Lions, who didn't cover anything, and they're not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
Dave Patrick, it's full of BS started by BYU. It's all BYU.
Right. It's all BYU, dude.
Lock, stock, and penis. It's all BYU.
Lock, stock, and cougar tail.
These are all small arenas. Everyone is looking over everyone's shoulder. You know it's going to happen. If you think people aren't lip reading or dude, come on.
Go out and put the ball in the hole.
Come on.
It's that easy.
Come on.
It's not our fault you couldn't make a shot, dude.
It's wild to me that people still engage in this. Well, they cheated, Monty.
Here I am.
Monty, I saw it.
Hey, Monty, he had his VCR recorder out and he cheated, and I saw it.
So essentially what they're accusing Iowa State of. I want to make sure people know this, that they put managers and disguised as towel and Gatorade boys behind the K-State bench to spy on their huddles.
Me?
If that's how you got spied on, just quit now. If that's what beat you, we're out of here. If that's what beat you, and you're claiming they you recorded the huddles on their cell phones. Who are you, Connor Stallions?
Fine Steeler guy.
Are you kidding me? Well, look, Monty.
Buddy's wearing Ray-Bans behind the bench.
Monty, they had those Motorola Razors. And they flipped that bad boy open, and I saw them hit record, and they pointed it at my keister.
I don't break the rules.
So what are they stealing signs, or are they recording my rectum? Either way, I don't feel good about it, Monty.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Come on, Monty. We're really...
Dude, you're saying that they fake towel boys to steal your signs.
Yeah, Sean, look over your shoulder gate.
What are we doing, dude?
Stand tighter together? I don't know.
Stand tighter together.
Who cares? I don't record my huddle. It's on TV. I don't care, you idiots.
Yeah.
Right? They're not. It's on TV. They're killing.
It's really despicable.
Shut the fuck up.
It's ridiculous.
Dave Patrick, stop repeating others' ideas. Who's repeating others' ideas?
Okay, what ideas are we repeating?
I don't
So let me
know.
get this right. So you're Catholic, you're Mormon, you're old,
I'm
you're
dead.
young,
I'm dead
and
already.
you're dying
No, I'm
tomorrow.
dead already.
Oh, you're dead already.
My soul, I'm going to hell.
Well, is that why you don't watch any games? Is
Yeah.
that the reason?
Yeah, apparently online, I'm the guy that curses and hates Jesus.
Yeah, you take the Lord's name in vain,
Well, that's why I'm going to hell if it's real, because I don't think it is. I get it.
God bless.
Okay, your version of Jesus is pissed and spiteful, and he kills people. Okay, cool, man. You do you.
My bad.
I'll be over here, man.
You're just chilling, bro. Just chilling, man.
I'll be over here. Ask all the Maverick fans on Twitter today. All I do is talk college. One dude on Twitter today is like, all you do is talk college football and golf, Monty.
It is what it is.
Stick to everything but the Mavs. I got the get Luca's name out of your mouth. Yeah, I'll do that.
How about that?
I'm going to get on that right now. I'll get a toothbrush and just scrub my tongue. It never happened again, Luca. Oh, damn. My bad. Stop repeating others' ideas. Okay. It's so funny.
This guy's got to be a troller.
He's got to be a troller. Dave Patrick also says BYU, like Muslims, can cheat, lie as long as victims are not Mormon. Right? Dude, what is it? This show is wild lately.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
Speaking of out of control, Boston Mapes Thought it was odd the Big 12 didn't want to put their biggest rivalry game during rivalry week. What's their?
Yeah, what you mean, bro?
I don't know. What do you mean?
What's their biggest rivalry game?
I'm unsure.
Is that a BYU Utah reference or
no? Because that's clearly not the biggest rivalry in the
yeah,
Big
I was going to
12.
say that's not the biggest rivalry.
Are you
in the Big
kidding
12,
me right
bro.
now?
And it's obviously not Arizona ASU.
Here's the other thing. It's like, oh my God, how can you not have BYU and Utah in the last week of the year? You know, I mean, General Conference be damned. Monty. So let me get this right. You were pissed there was a game. You didn't want it to come back. Now the game is back. You're still pissed. And now you're really pissed because it's not the week that you wanted it. So you don't have as much time as you thought you had to sew your red and blue sweatshirt together.
Well, Monty,
Hey, Monty.
get ready for GC, man.
Yeah, Monty, we can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Don't play intramurals, brother.
Dakota Tubbs. Monty is definitely rooting against every one of Gary's flavor of the month teams. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
You know.
Gary, what's the flavor of the month for February,
Now,
bro?
listen, Gary, I know you don't wear deodorant and you constantly tell me what restaurants. Gary, anybody that wants a good Indian restaurant in the state of Utah needs to go to OG Gary because I'm not even joking. OG
So-called
Gary
experts.
has the hookup on the best Indian food in the great state of, well, the average state of Utah. Right. But my man is a fan of like, well, listen, guys, I once bought a used book and it was, originally printed in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania. So now I'm
What are you talking
a fan of the Fighting Paternos. Could have happened to anybody. Lock the shower door.
Pause, bro. Pause.
I'm going to hell. Boston Mapes. Damn, I just got tannered.
Me?
Oh, wait, I didn't. Where are we at on likes? We are only at, you guys, 264 watching. We want to give away a $100 Amazon gift card.
They
today.
let you down.
Bros, it is 57. I think we'll have to wait till next hour.
Yeah.
Well, I